This episode of FilmRiot is brought to you by Domain.com.
Today on FilmRiot, we do some visual effects color grading.
Pop, pop, bang.
Welcome to FilmRiot, the show that takes the mystery and the effects techniques going to some of your favorite Hollywood films. I'm your host, Ryan Conley, and the clip I just showed you was actually from our last episode of Pip Your Productions, which if you have not seen it, you should definitely check it out right here. It is one of the craziest things that we've made and one of the things that I had most fun making. But specifically with that scene that I just showed you, I've been getting a lot of questions like this. I'm actually more interested in some of the earlier shots, the slow motion coming off the Cessna. If I'm not mistaken, that looks like high dynamic range photography there. Or was it just very well graded and well lit 4K footage? Yes, to one of those, kind of. It was 2K, not 4K, which is just basically 1080p. And I thought that this would be a good thing to look at since I did do a different way of color grading the footage. So, bumper. For starters, this was not shot HDR. I knew what I wanted to do in post, so I tried to find a mid-ground exposure that would keep detail for my actors and the sky and the jet all at the same time. Here's my original raw shot with no color correction on it at all, and as you see, it's very muddy and flat, and if I were just to add a color grade to the image as a whole, which of course I would favor my subject, which here is the jet, I will end up blowing out the sky, losing all the detail, and ending up with a much less pleasing shot. To solve this issue, I'm going to deal with the sky and the rest of the image independent of each other, which I am calling VFX Color Grading. I mean, it's not really what it is, but I like how that sounds, so that's what I'm going to call it. So first I will duplicate my footage, then mask out the sky with a lot of my shots. That was very simple since the shots were locked down, but with a few like this one, we did have some movement, so I will have to create my mask, then keyframe it to match the shot. Now, depending on your shot, you may be able to get away with using things like rotobrush or sky replacement techniques like creating a matte from a blown out sky, but since the jet is also white and very close in tone to the sky, that was not an option for me. That would not work well at all. So good old rotoscoping it was. Which, side note, am I the only one that gets excited about rotoscoping because it means that I'm able to just listen to a podcast or audiobooks, which I don't always get to do because most of the time my work involves audio? I can't be the only one, can I?
Probably.
Once you have your mask done, you can now grade these two totally independent of each other to get whatever look you want. Make the sky stand out, give it a great color contrast, go crazy with it, make some kind of post-apocalyptic sky background, just crazy tone. Just remember, the more you push it, the more the strings are going to show. If you keep these two grades relatively close to each other, it will be seamless. But if you start pushing the background to be completely different from your foreground, it's going to start to show a little bit. But now I have my two separated and I grade it the way I want. I'll add one more thing, which is totally optional, but I really like the effect I got from this. To finish off my shots, I used optical flares as another color grading tool. First, I grabbed an orange glow orb, no streaks or any other goodies, just the base light, then position it to the top left where it seems the sun is coming and set the blending mode to add, and this brightens up the image a bit and gives it a nice warmth. Then I duplicated that layer, switched it to overlay, changed the orb to a bluish color, and set it to the bottom right. And the reason I'm doing this is to bring up the shadows here under the jet without affecting much of the rest of the image and to add a subtle color contrast between the two sides of the image. And just to show you, here is before and after the flares are added. It works with or without them, but I prefer the after. Another thing I did here was to add unsharpened mask to the sky and my foreground. I added 2 instances of unsharpened mask actually. The first with a wide radius, which will be affecting a wide area, and this kind of will bring up all the contrast a bit and pull everything together. Then the second with a much smaller radius, which will affect a much tighter area, helping to bring out the detail in all the edges. As far as the actual color grade goes, that is totally up to you. Go crazy, be creative, try whatever idea pops into your head. Just remember, once you've done your grading, take a step away from your work for a few hours, then come back and look at your image again with fresh eyes. Oftentimes, I find a lot of issues by doing this that I wouldn't have otherwise. Your eyes just have a fantastic ability to adjust and start accepting things that you wouldn't off the bat. So again, here's our before and after. Of course, the key to getting a good result in post is making sure that you expose a bit for both during production. If you blow out the sky when shooting, you're screwed. You need to retain the detail to work in post, but test it out a few times before you use it and you'll be good to go. Need a domain name? Of course you do. And if you're a budding filmmaker, entrepreneur, innovator.net from domain.com, that's gonna be perfect for you. Josh, will it be perfect for them?
It will be perfect!
We did like the you screaming thing last week. We don't have to do that again.
I was just gonna do it once.
Oh, that was just gonna be the one time?
Yeah,
Just boom and you're out.
I'm out.
I understand. .NET is universally known and injects your website with instant credibility. You will immediately discover the advantages of building your web presence around a what?
Oh yeah!
No, I said around a what, which would be a .NET from domain.com.
I lied.
About the screaming thing?
Yeah.
I kind of figured, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Already have a .com? Well, then you can purchase the corresponding .NET at domain.com to protect your brand. The .com that you want already taken? Well, then get a .NET. It's a perfect alternative. Am I right?
You are right, Ryan.
See, that's classy.
See, I
That's
thought
nice.
so.
I like that a lot. See,
Yeah.
it's calm and it's like, hey, oh God. Find your new .NET at domain.com. They're affordable. They're easy to use. Their .NET is only $8.99 a year. Plus, they're already affordable and they want to make it more affordable. They want to hook you up with 15% off when you use the coupon code FilmRiot at checkout. Where do they use the coupon code?
FilmRiot.
No, I said, where do they use the coupon code?
Domain.com.
There it is. And what's the coupon code?
FilmRiot.
There you go. See, if you just listened, you would have executed well.
I got excited.
You did. I saw it in your
didn't.
heart. Okay, so use the coupon code FilmRiot at checkout. Save
Check
yourself 15%.
FilmRiot.
Yeah.
Logo.
Another thing I did with this shot is what you would call power windows when you're using proper color grading software, which we will get into some color grading software later down the road. But what's great about this technique is you can do it in just about anything. Premiere, Final Cut, After Effects, Hit Film, Nuke, Motion, whatever you use. You could do the last thing we just showed you and this. So take this shot, we have everything separated and looking good except the actor, which is just way too dark right here. So I will add an adjustment layer, then mask around the area that I want to add my correction, which will be my actor's layer, and then feather. Next, I'm gonna add levels and brighten up my actor. Bring up the mids, the shadows, maybe the highlights a little bit, but now we're way too saturated on the actor, so I'm gonna drop in some hue saturation or whatever effect that you wanna use to pull down your saturation. Pull that down, and now we have a before and after. It is subtle, but the before kind of looks gross and non-good. It really saves it with that power window effect. And you can do this technique for anything. Lighten up an object in your scene to call more attention to it, or just the actor's face, or even eyes. And the last thing that I'm going to show you today is this here. Specifically, this. After I added the effect, and before, you can see in the original footage that there is a big problem. The crew and gear all reflecting in the sunglasses, which would completely ruin the scene, but there is an easy enough fix for this, which is similar to the techniques from before. Create an adjustment layer, then mask around the glasses and keyframe the mask to follow through the shot, then feather the mask and add a blur, and now you have it. That's it. Super simple fix. It could get time consuming depending on your shot, but it is very simple overall. So that's it for today, and in case you didn't see Monday's episode, we are doing something a little special. If you buy anything from our Triune store from now until July 25th, you will be entered to win a one-on-one video chat with the FilmRiot crew, which will be Josh, Eris, and myself. In total, we're picking 3 people who have purchased something from the store in that time frame to have a 10-minute private chat video action with us. We can talk about whatever you want. Movies, filmmaking, answer questions you might have, watch and critique some of your work if you want, or just talk about random stuff. pretty much whatever. It's your time. And all you have to do to enter is buy anything from our store from now till July 25th. That's it. So if you're interested at all, jump over, check out the store, and there you have it. Also, Twitters, my Twitters, which I tweet from. And I'll see you next week when I wake up in a giant room of human-filled pods, bald and covered in goo.